I'm Mark Foster with CCOA, and we're going to talk a little bit about the 3 steps to budgeting. Oftentimes people want to jump to the 3rd step, but it's kind of like painting. If you just start slapping paint on the wall and you don't do any prep work first, they're like, ooh, it's not going to go too well. You got to start from the top. The first step is to have goals, because goals are our motivation for doing and sticking with a budget. I mean, why do a budget? I mean, I'd rather be watching Netflix, right? So, well, the whole point of goals is to help us to stay motivated, focused, and on track, so that we will do and follow through with that budget. So have some goals. Can be short-term, mid-term, long-term goals. They can be practical goals like, well, I need a new set of car tires this year. They can be fun goals like, I want a season pass to Silver Dollar City. Whatever it is. The big thing is we always want to make sure we put our needs ahead of our wants. The wants are more fun, but we got to do that whole adulting thing, and we got to put our needs ahead of our wants. So that's important. But if we're spending more than we can afford to, or we're way overspending in a category, then it's out of balance, and it can cause some problems. So the first step, that kind of ties in with the second step. The first step of budgeting is setting some goals. The second step of budgeting is to track your expenses, so you know where your money's going. Not where you hope it's going or where you think it's going, but here's exactly where my money's going. The final step then is, you take your numbers and you plug it into a budget sheet. Now, there's nothing fancy about this one. This is one of a million out there that you can use. This is one that we use in one of our classes, but find a budget sheet and then plug your numbers in after you've tracked them. If you don't track it first and you just throw numbers in there, I spoke with a couple one time where they put down $0 going out to eat every month. And when I talked to them, because I thought, well, I don't know anybody who doesn't go out to eat at all during the month, get a pizza, zip through the drive-thru, something. So when I questioned them, they were going out about 3 times a week. Well, they put on their budget sheet 0. So just that one category was going to be hundreds of dollars off and be enough to derail their whole budget. And that's when I typically hear people say, oh, I tried a budget, it didn't work. I always ask those folks, did you track your spending first? And every single time they've said, no. Be honest with yourself, don't estimate it, actually go through. It can be simple, look at your debit charges for the month and then keep track of the cash spending you do and then plug the numbers in. But the 3rd step, that's when you take a look at your budget, take a look at the numbers you put in here, and you might see some blind spots in your spending that were a bit extravagant and say, that's more on entertainment than I thought I was spending, or that's more on clothes. And the whole adulting thing, I get it, it's not always fun, but what is fun is, and what is a great feeling, is when you've got some measure of financial freedom. When you're not living paycheck to paycheck, that is a great feeling. And 78% of Americans now say they live paycheck to paycheck and have that stress of, if any little thing pops up, they're wondering, how am I going to pay for that? What am I going to do? And if you've got money that you've saved up, like $1,000 savings emergency fund, if something pops up, it's like, well, I've got this little safety net over here, and that's going to help me out. I'll be okay.